It's like a little magic bean that you plant and somehow grows into this beautiful plant that is giving you all this delicious fruit and vegetables in the summertime. This is video number 4 in my edible gardening series for beginners. If you're just joining us, I recommend that you go ahead and start from the beginning with video number 1. But if you are here for video number 4, this one is going to be about how to start your seeds. So once you have all of your seeds, the very first step is going to be reading your seed packet. You should be able to find most of your planting information, if not all, on the back of this packet. If you're not sure how to read the seed packet or which seeds to choose, I talk about this in my last video, which is choosing seeds. Some plants grow best when they are directly sown into the garden soil. Slower growing crops, like peppers, eggplants, celery, and onions, need a head start indoors. The timing of seeds starting is usually based on your last frost date. Many seed packets will say something like start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. Once you know the date for your area, it's easy to count backwards. It's helpful to make a list of everything you're growing and note which seeds need to be started indoors and when, based on your last frost date. Now that you know what seeds need to be started indoors, let me show you the simplest way to start them at home. So the medium you grow your plants in matters. This can be really easy. All you have to do is go to the store and get a simple potting mix for fruits and vegetables. Don't use garden soil. Potting mix is clean, lightweight, and holds moisture well. This helps delicate seedlings grow strong roots and to not be too moist or too dry. Okay, so I'm going to show you a really simple setup so that you can start your own seeds at home. You're going to need your potting mix, and I like to keep it in a separate bucket because I'm going to need to mix it with water to get it the right amount of dampness. So you don't have to do this, but I like to use gloves when I am mixing my soil. And that is really just because I mix so much soil, and after a while it starts to give me hangnails or it really dries out my hands. So I'm using gloves. You absolutely don't have to and probably won't need to if you're just doing a normal amount of seeds. So this is kind of fun. You're just going to, just so you can see, you're just going to mix this around with your hands. And what you're doing is just making sure that the water is distributed evenly amongst it and there are no super dry spots or super wet spots. If you grab a handful of your potting mix and you squeeze really hard, then you should get just a couple drops of water. You don't want to just squeeze lightly and have a bunch of water come out. That means it's too damp. And if no water comes out when you squeeze really hard, it's probably too dry. And then you're going to need something to plant your seeds into. So I just have these reusable seed cells, but you can also use any plastic container from the recycling. I mean, plastic's not the greatest, but I find that old milk cartons work because they're waxed. Just anything you use, make sure that there are drainage holes in them. So just poke holes in the bottom of it. Whatever you use, make sure it's clean. This can be as simple as washing with dish soap and rinsing with a vinegar and water solution. And then you're going to need something to label your seeds with. So Sharpies work great. And then again, just any sort of tag that you have or tape works really well as well. And then your seeds. So the seeds that I am going to be planting today are eggplant seeds. And of course, it's nice to have scissors to cut them open. So I'm going to be using these today. And this is super simple. You're just going to grab your soil and fill your seed cell. You'll want to make sure that it is evenly filled, so just press very lightly. Next, make sure you're planting at the correct depth. Most seed packets will tell you exactly how deep to plant your seeds. If they don't, you can always look it up online, or a good rule of thumb is to plant seeds 1 to 2 times as deep as the diameter of the seed itself. So if I read the back of this, it says to start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost, but there's no planting depth on here, so I'm going to go about 2 times the diameter of the seed itself. I'm just making a small hole in each cell to place the seeds in. And for really tiny seeds, I like to put them in a separate container, but these ones aren't that tiny, so I'm just going to sprinkle a couple into my hand. Cute! If you have new seeds, your germination rate is probably going to be really good. So these seeds were just bought, they're from a really good company, so I'm only going to do 1 seed per cell. But if you have older seeds, or if you're worried about germination rate, you could always do 2 to even 4 seeds per cell. You just have to make sure that you thin them later, and we'll go over that in the next video. So fun! Little bit of magic. After placing your seeds, gently press the soil around them. If you find really big sticks like this, feel free to take them out. Ooh, because what do we need for germination? We need moisture and soil contact. And sometimes when there's a really big stick or rock in the way, then you don't have that soil contact with your seedling. After planting, water lightly and evenly. This helps the soil settle and keeps it damp for germination. Avoid overwatering if you can, as overly wet soil can lead to mold or algae. Now, the seed packet will also tell you roughly how long it takes them to germinate and at what temperature they want to germinate at. It looks like it'll germinate in 5 to 10 days, so about a week. The temperature for it to germinate is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, so for eggplants, you're definitely going to want to put them in a warm place. I like to use a heating mat on our grow rack. Check on them daily and keep the soil moist until germination. This usually means watering every day or 2, and you don't need to worry about light until they start to sprout. And then once they start to sprout, you'll need to make sure that they have access to light. So if you don't have a grow table, that's absolutely fine. You just need a really sunny windowsill, or you can supplement with additional artificial lighting. Even a lamp will work better than nothing. You will gain so much confidence from seeing your little plant babies succeed and grow and being able to eat your first fruit or vegetable that you grew. Don't worry, there are also some deaths. This is normal. I recommend planting 2 to 3 times as much as you think you'll need if you have the space. And that's really only because some seedlings won't germinate or they might die off before you get them outside. And then if you have any pests, some bugs or rabbits or animals might eat some of your other ones. And that way you still have a third left for you. So my general rule of thumb, because I have the space, is I like to start about 3 times as many seeds as I actually think I'll be able to eat. But you can do your own math and play around with that. In the next video, I will show you exactly how to care for your seedlings and what to look out for as they grow so that they stay healthy and strong, so that they actually make it to your garden or they make it to full size, and then we can pick and harvest together. So if you are new to starting an edible garden this year, I highly recommend, you don't have to, but I highly recommend that you follow along because my next video is going to be about seedling care and troubleshooting. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Is this thing on?